The following episode contains language and descriptions of violence and self-harm. It may not be appropriate for all listeners, but it was my life. Discretion is advised. What up, what up? Welcome back to another episode of Roll Call with Chappie. We are recording on a Saturday, and I say this every single week, but this one is very, very, very impressive. So I got the legend, Mr. Freeway Ricky Ross, the real Rick Ross in the studio today. Thank you for coming out here, my man. How are you?
I'm glad to be here. What's up with you?
Ooh, thank you for coming out here. So before we even get going, tell everybody how to find you. And you got a new book out, so I just want them to know all your socials and stuff. Because to be honest, I had to Google you, and I was blown away after I Googled your name. So there's a lot of people that don't even know the full story. So tell them to Google you and let them know.
It is. You can get me on Instagram at Freeway Ricky, Facebook Freeway Ricky Ross. If you want to buy my book, which is where I suggest you start, you know, if you really want to dig down into the heart of what's going on, is my autobiography. I tried to keep it real as I could. You know, a lot of times your memories start to fade when you did something 20 years ago, you know. But when I was sitting in prison, I thought it was very important that I wrote my book. It kind of breaks it down, you know, to what's going to happen. If you open up the front of the book and you go to the back, you'll kind of know how, if you're getting ready to get into drugs, how your life is going to turn out.
Oh, there we go.
Give you a pretty good idea.
Did you write that in prison?
I wrote it in prison when I had a life sentence without the possibility of parole. You know, at the time, I didn't know if I was going to ever come home.
Yeah.
You know, you always feel, you know, I mean, even, you know, if you do a couple years,
I did 12 and it didn't feel like I was going to ever go home.
Exactly.
Seriously.
So you understand,
Yeah.
you know, a guy who's in prison, you could be doing a couple days and it feel like, man, am I going to get out of here alive?
Yeah.
So when you got a life sentence where on your paperwork it says death, you double think that. You know, you like, damn, the government's saying I ain't getting out of here.
It's when they give you the years and there's no years, it's letters, natural life. You know, I remember seeing those booking cards. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, people was thinking that it was bad when they was giving them those football numbers in months, you know, but it was really bad when they give you those letters, those alphabets, man. It's scary.
Cool. So yeah, anybody listening to this, go buy that book. If your loved one is locked up or something like that, go get them a present, buy that book and send it to them in the joint right here. So Let's get into the up and coming. You was a straight kingpin. How did you get to that status? I want to know the whole upbringing from you. So where did you grow up? And let's just take it all back.
Well, you know, I was born in Tyler, Texas. My mom and my father broke up when I was 4 months old, from what I understand. You know, I'm getting this secondhand information.
Yeah, you don't have memories when you were 4 months old, right?
But my mom moved to California. I do remember that when I was around 3. We moved out. We were staying on my auntie's couches and uncle's couches and so forth. And I was just a normal kid, you know, wanted to be a cop, firefighter, you know, airplane pilot, you know what I'm saying? Something like that there, you know. When I was in the 6th grade, the first time I ever saw gangs.
Okay.
You know, and I was like, damn, that shit looks cool. I thought about being a gang member. I want to be a gang member. It's crazy, man. I mean, it's just so much stuff happened in my life. And I had some friends, right, that I was hanging out with in elementary school who actually turned crips.
Okay.
And that's one of the projects I'm working on right now. I want to do a documentary called The Evolution of Cripping. Okay. Where these guys just got out 45 years and 39 years, and 3 of my guys that I hung out with in elementary, you know, they actually became Crips. Okay. And I could only imagine had I would have followed through. But my mom wasn't going for it. You know, she was one of them old Texas girls. She
whoop your ass, huh?
With the telephone card, extension card.
You can't do that now in 2022 though, but yeah, it's different.
No, she'd have been in jail. They'd have had her. She'd have been done. So that stopped me from cripping. I started playing tennis at about 12, 13. Okay. Tennis kept me out of the streets, you know, away from the whole gang scene. It was so crazy. My life has been really crazy, right?
To say the least.
All while I'm in high school, in junior high school, I never recognized lowriders, you know? And then all of a sudden, in the 12th grade, I find out I'm not going to college. My tennis career is over. So now I'm back in South Central LA, hanging out with guys.
Did you graduate high school though?
Nope.
Okay.
I couldn't read or write. Yeah, I never learned how to read or write.
I can't take tests.
So here I am, fresh off of not being able to go into college, and a couple of my friends did go to college and was playing number one at some pretty big universities. We had a really good black tennis team. So I'm back in South Central. Now I'm hanging out with not the three guys that I was telling you about that I'm doing the thing on, because they was already in prison.
Okay. Yep.
When I came back to
That's
the
how quick
hood,
it happens too.
they was already done. You know, you could stick a fork in them.
Yeah.
So I started hanging out with other guys who wasn't as hard as they are, but was doing some of the similar stuff.
Little up and coming ones.
Yeah, yeah. So they take me to the street races for the first time. I'd never been to the street races. I never, in my mind, I'm like, damn, I never recognized lowriders. And I love these motherfuckers. They pretty, So I started going around to all the guys with the lowriders, asking them, like, man, how did you get this car? Where did this come from?
Slanging, huh?
Yeah. Well, not at that time. At that time, they were stealing cars.
Okay.
The main function was stealing cars. It was a few of them dipping in the PCP.
All right.
The ones that was, the water. The ones that was really, really balling. Yeah. Later on I found out they were doing PCP. So one of them took me on. He's like, oh, man, I'll show you. Come by my house tomorrow. Gave me his phone number and everything. So I go by his house, and he started me off driving cars for him. He go steal them, and I drive them back. That went on for a couple months, and next thing you know, I done learned how to steal the cars myself and how to disalarm them, and I done learned everything that he knew just about. He winds up going to jail, and then I took over his whole business.
Little operation.
I got my own body shop. Stripping the cars myself. I had my own crew. I got my own drivers. Yeah. Basically, I just copied.
You said body shop. Did you mean chop shop?
Yeah, same thing. Body shop, chop shop, they're the same thing. So I wound up getting raided. The cops raided us. I had like 7 stolen cars in there, and cut all the pieces. I cut people's cars in half. I would get rid of it, dispose it that way. So after that happened, I could no longer steal cars because I'm fighting 7 counts of GTA. Yeah. Mom bailed me out of jail, and
like moms always do.
I'm sitting on my porch and on my mom's porch, and I'm like, wow, what am I gonna do with my life? I thought I had me a good little hustle. Yeah. Now that's over. What am I gonna do?
And you're what, 18, 19, 20 this time?
18.
Okay.
18 going on 19.
All right.
And my boy called me and he's like, man, I got the next best thing for you. So we go over his crib, and
those good friends we all have.
And he laid cocaine on the table for the first time I ever saw it. Other than the movies, I saw it in movies before, but I never saw cocaine in person. Okay. And that changed my life forever.
Oof. Let's get into that, man.
Well, after I take my first snort, I never snorted nothing. I never smoked a joint. I drank a little bit of a beer. I didn't really like the taste of beer. Mm-hmm. Like we would be at the tennis in these hot places, and the tennis coach would tell us to drink a little beer to keep us hydrated. So I drank a little beer. Didn't really care for it. Never drank wine, and that was my introduction. That's why one of the times, people be saying, well, weed is the gateway drug, and I was like, shit, wasn't a gateway for me. I started right with cocaine.
Cocaine was your gateway. Yeah.
Then I went backwards.
Yeah.
Then I went to
bypassed
weed.
It. Yeah.
Yeah. So I got started that day, man. He gave me a little piece about the size of a match head, and told me to go see what I could do with it. And I went around and to all the OGs, asked them about it. Man, is this cocaine? And they was like, man, that don't look like cocaine to me. It was crazy because the guys who I thought knew about cocaine really didn't know about cocaine. So it took me a while, and I finally ran into Martin, who was an older pimp, and he told me to come with him, and he took it and cooked it up, and it was so small, and he said, well, it cooked up like cocaine, but I don't know if it's really cocaine. Let me sample it. and we're talking about the size of a match here. Once he took the razor blade and sliced it in half, it was so small. I was like, what? You know, that shit gone.
Yeah, just took my shit.
And then he hit it, and he said, I need to sample a little more. And by that time, it was like all gone. And he was like, man, I'll just pay you for that Friday. So
and that's what started it?
That's what got me started. I left. I was really disappointed when I left. You know.
Really?
I thought I'd failed. Yeah.
Okay.
You know, like, wow. Didn't work out. You know, the big dreams that my friend had just sold me was all going down the drain.
I got my match head taken. I don't know what we're doing now.
Yeah, man, I was so sad. It was a sad day for me. But what happened is Martin, the guy who sampled it up, he called me a few hours later. He was like, man, you got some more of that? And I was like, hell no. And he was like, man, call your boy and see if he got some more. And so I called my man. I'm like, man, I got good and bad news.
You're like, it's gone, but I don't have any money, but he needs more, and I think we got money now, huh?
Yeah,
you tell him that?
He got $100. You want that $100 or you gonna kick my ass? Yeah. Either way, it's up to you. It's your choice. You do what you want to do. But anyway, he brought $100 worth over. And then I just became the middleman.
That was a little bit bigger than a match head too, right?
Yeah, a little bit. Not much, not much.
Back then, yeah.
Cocaine was expensive back then.
Yeah.
I think a gram was like $350.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they didn't want to see. They was talking that war on drugs. The price went down with the war on drugs. You know?
For sure. It literally did.
Made it more readily available, seemed like. But yeah, it was like $325, $350 a gram.
Wow. So what happened after you got that little 100 spot?
Well, I didn't touch it. You know, I touched none of the money, none of the coke. You know, it was just like here. But what that did for me is it let Martin know, and now I know Mouse too. You know, not only do I know Martin, but now I know Mouse too. So I know two people who know what cocaine is, you know, and really mess with it. And then I got my man Mike, who got cocaine. So, and I was just doing it for Mike, you know, really. I never really, at that time, I didn't think that I could get rich doing it or nothing like that there.
You definitely didn't think you were going to start moving kilos of that stuff, right?
No, not at that time, no. Yeah. If they had told me a kilo, I'd have been like, oh, a kilo? Yeah. I just want an eighth.
Yeah, literally, right? Seriously.
But one of the things about doing this stuff is that you become almost like the addict. You become immune to it. You know, the more you handle, the easier it is to handle more. So that's kind of how it went, and it just went from there to, you know, Mouse would introduce me to this person, and then the next thing you know, I got 10 people that I'm serving. You know, and my money went from, you know, $20 a week to $500 a week to $1,000 a week to $5,000 a day. You know, till and what I did is I just kept duplicating it. You know, the same program, and then I figured out about duplication, and I was like, well, now you need to duplicate yourself. You need to find guys who are just like you, who were down on their luck, you know, who didn't make it in baseball, football, or basketball, you know, maybe was all right in school but not good enough to get in college. Those are the guys who you need to be recruiting. Those are the guys who will take this thing to another level.
Damn. So then you got to doing some crazy numbers. What's it like when you bought your first kilo?
You know what? See, and we missed it, man, in my documentary. My first guy that I bought my first ounce from, you know, he got paralyzed, Ivan, and we went back and talked to him, but he wouldn't talk on camera. He didn't like the producer. He was smarter than I was. Even though he was bedridden, he was like, man, I don't trust that fucking guy right there. I shouldn't have trusted him either. They took my whole documentary from me. Said they wrote it and everything.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, people motherfuckers.
Yeah.
But anyway, we were talking about, he was telling stories about how when I didn't know nothing, and he used to, you know, just kill me on the coke game. Like, instead of selling me a kilo, he was selling me a pound. And so he took the 4 ounces.
No way, yeah. Wow, that's
he
smart.
was selling me pounds for the same price as you selling kilos, but he took the 4 ounces out every time, and I mean I didn't mind because I was making good money. You know, I could take an ounce at that time. An ounce I make like $9,000.
How quick did you go from that to making? Because you ended up, I mean, I read some stuff. They said you were doing $2 million a day.
3 sometimes.
$3 million a day?
Yeah, I had $3 million a day.
How long was the turnaround from selling? Mom, you're not allowed to talk on this podcast. She always says something in here. How quick were you doing from 18 to doing $2-3 million a day? How old were you then?
It took a while. My best years was 84. So you figure 4 years I was cranking, you know. And it just didn't go from that to that. It went, you know, 500,000 a day.
Yeah.
400. That's why when they get
were you flossing and riding all the nasty whips, or were you kind of low key?
No. What I had learned is to plow the money back into the game.
There we go.
What I found out is that how you make money is when I was sitting in prison, right, and I'm starting to study myself. You know, 'cause when I write my book, I had to study myself.
Yeah.
You know, I had to get out of myself, you know, and interview myself.
To look at it,
yeah. So when I was doing that, I figured out that Rick, the only thing you were doing, you was a cocaine banker. You know, they shouldn't have called me a dealer. I just should have called me a banker.
If you look, it's all entrepreneur stuff. You know, you had your own business.
It.
You're just selling illegal stuff instead of selling legal stuff.
Because I couldn't get my hands on nothing legal to sell.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't know nobody where I could go and get, you know, Alpine radios or shorts at a discount or T-shirts. You know, I didn't understand that part of the game. Mm-hmm. I just saw what everybody else was doing, so I followed suit.
And that's probably why you blew it up so quick, because you didn't start just getting all the flashy cars like everybody else did. You just kept reinvesting.
Two of my partners could have been my bosses.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, either one of them if they'd have been smart.
So how did it all go downhill and getting wrangled up?
How did I get busted?
Yeah.
Oh, that was easy.
Besides snitches, because that's always the case. I'm sure that was.
Yeah. Well, what happened is it was crazy. I just went by the bus station the other day. I was in Cincinnati and we passed by. I was sending some coke from LA, I think like 11 keys or something, you know, some holdover. And this guy that I put on the bus, he got spooked in Mexico.
You were having him taken on the bus for you?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, he was on the bus with it. So
backpack full of kilos?
Suitcase. So he's on the bus and he's going to he's bringing them from LA to Cinci. So in New Mexico, the dog alerted, and he saw the dog alert, and he jumped off the bus. But he don't call me and tell me that the dog alerted to the bag and you know, to stay away. So we know what time the bus supposed to be there, so we're going to pick him up. So when we get there, he's nowhere to be found. And we walking through the door of the bus station. My pager had failed. Saved me.
Pager, yeah.
I'd have went to jail right then on that spot, but I didn't. So my pager had failed, but my guy who was with me, he went on in the bus station looking for him. So I went back to the car to get my pager, and when I come back to the door of the bus station, I see like 5 big white guys around my guy. I'm like, holy shit, they got to be the feds.
Yeah.
So I took off running. I ran all the way to the house, left the car.
Left the pager?
No. I kept
Got
my
the
pager. Yeah, I kept my pager. I ain't lose, you don't leave that pager. That pager like the phone right now,
sure.
so you don't lose those. And then after, you know, I did everything I could to get my guy out, and I thought it was a bunk case because he never touched the suitcase. He didn't even know what the suitcase looked like.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? But they thought they made it in court as if he was the one who got on the bus and brought the suitcase down.
Gotcha.
In the whole 9 yards. So he got 20 years, and that scared the shit out of me. I was like, man, you know what? I'm done. You know.
But you weren't though, right?
Yeah, I was. I quit.
Really?
Yeah, I quit.
So then what happened?
Well, some more guys that I had with me, some young guys, you know, those guys I told you who I try to find who look like me, they was down there with me. So when I paid them, I paid everybody off, you know. I think I gave them like $45,000 each for coming down with me. And I said, we're going to chill out for a while, you know. Because I had Cincinnati. It was on fire. I was killing Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Oh, my
That
goodness.
was a spot.
Oh my goodness, I was making so much money. That was the most money I ever made per kilo. Now I made more money in LA, but not per kilo. Like I could take 1 kilo to Cincinnati, and I could make like 37,000 off of it. You know, and at this time I'm paying like 10. So that's like
5 times your money, almost 4.5 times your money.
Yeah, and I ain't never made this kind of money before.
Okay.
So you know, in LA I was making at the height of my career I was making like 12,000 a kilo. But
how many kilos were you moving at the height?
Maybe 170 some days. You know.
70 some days. Yeah.
But in LA I was getting them at 10, and I could take them to Ohio and get to 35, 37, 40, according to who it was. So when I left LA though, I was only getting like 2,500 a kilo, and I felt like I was getting robbed. Like, these motherfuckers went crazy. Mm-hmm. I taught them how to sell this shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now they don't want to pay me no more. They got the Colombian connections, and they got they Mexican connections, and now everybody done cut me out. So
that's how it is. No one gives a shit about anybody. They all backdoor anybody in that whole game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a dog world.
Yeah.
So anyway, we got busted down there. Those guys got busted. Well, Al had got busted first. My man that I was telling you about, he wound up getting 20 years. I hired like 3 lawyers for him, and they like, man, it's a tough case.
Yeah.
You know, so
back then they wasn't playing none of that shit.
So my other little guys, because I kept all my apartments, you know, I'd already paid all the apartments up, and I bought houses. The houses down there was like 15,000. So you know, I bought like 3 or 4 houses.
It's
I had
like
about
nothing with couch money.
10 cars. Yeah. You know, so all of my stuff, I just left everything. You know, parked in the driveways,
yeah.
and you know, like they'll be good in a year. I'll just come back in a year and kick back up. Now I know everybody, because when I first went to Cincinnati, I didn't know nobody.
Okay.
You know, so it's another thing. But at this time, I got 10, 15 cars. So I leave all the cars, all the apartments. You know, we just leave it, because in Cincinnati at that time it was really like cool, no crime.
Yeah.
You know, like. Probably one of the safest places in America. Until we thought so. You know, come from South Central LA where gangs is shooting and killing all the time. So you go to a place like that, you're like, lovely.
Paradise,
you know? Yeah. So anyway, these guys go back, and they're using all my stuff, the houses, the cars, and everything. And I get a call one day, and it was like, my girlfriend like, hey, Charlie, because she didn't know I was using a fake name.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't tell nobody my real name. My name,
Charlie.
Charlie was my name in Ohio. So she's like, hey, Charlie, yo, you was just on the news. You know,
no
like,
way.
What? She's like, yeah, you locked up all them young boys. You know, that's what she called them, young boys. Because she was from Ohio, so she was country.
And they're looking for you, huh?
Yeah, she said they looking for you, but they got the wrong name. I said, what name they got? She said, Rick Ross. I said, yeah, they got the right name.
Wow.
Yeah, she didn't know that they had the right name, but yeah, they said they're looking for Rick Ross. And
before I forget, because that's a really interesting thing. That I heard that those, the rapper Freeway and Rick Ross took your name just because of your legendary status, so they thought you were gone forever.
Yeah, something like that. I suppose.
Do you get?
Not just them. It's been like 4. It's like 4 rappers that use my name.
I heard these two, and if you can answer this or not answer this, but do they pay you for using your name still or no?
No, nobody. No? Nobody's ever paid me.
That's a rumor that goes around too, just so you know. So I was curious.
Stop the rumors.
I wanted to clear it up on the air, so I definitely want to ask you
Nobody's
that.
paid me. I got robbed. I've been getting robbed since I've been home.
Rick Ross should pay this man, but they don't pay him yet, so that's the lick. Okay, so what happens then? You see the news.
He don't know no better.
For sure, 100%.
I mean, his legacy is going to be the guy that stole Rick Ross's name. That's gonna be his main legacy. They're not gonna mention none of his hit records, none of the platinums that he got, none of the house that Holyfield's house.
Yeah.
They're not gonna remember none of that.
Yeah.
They're gonna remember the rapper who stole Rick Ross's name. Hell of a legacy. I'm writing my new book, right? So I've been asking everybody, man, I wonder how you gonna be portrayed in my new book. Are you going to be portrayed like you was portrayed in the Owen, or are you going to clean that shit up, what I'm saying, and do better this time, because you do have a chance right now to do better. You got an opportunity to really, script your own life. Like that's what I did. You know, like I was telling you earlier about the guy Jesse Katz, who wrote my obituary. What he didn't understand is that he thought that I was delirious. You know, in the article, he talks about riding up the coast of the Pacific Coast Highway and what a beautiful day it was. He was going there to write my obituary, and when he came there, he thought he was talking to a corpse. He said I was delirious.
Wow.
Because I told him all the things I was going to be doing when I got home. That's crazy. I told him I was going to be doing boxing. I'm doing boxing right now. One of my guys will be fighting main event on De La Hoya. He just signed to De La Hoya.
Wow.
He'll be the main event on their card. And to me, he's the most exciting fighter De La Hoya got right now. I got about 7 other fighters that I'm working with.
Okay.
That's Kid Austin. I got Anthony Peterson, who's going to be a world champ. Probably going to be the oldest 35-year-old champ ever. Yes. And then I got a Vashon champ and a couple other guys that I'm working with. That's just the boxing.
Yeah.
I told him I was going to have my own clothing line. You know, I went on the Joe Rogan show, and while I was on the Joe Rogan show, you know, I was like, shit, man, Joe got money. Joe ought to help me. You know,
Joe got big money.
Because I'm unlike this here, right? When you see a real motherfucker, like when I had my money, I used to be glad to run to the real ones when they get out of prison. Like,
plug them.
Man, what you need? I got you, homie.
Yeah.
Because I want to brag and be like,
sure.
I helped him come up.
Yeah.
You know, but it wasn't the same when I come home. It was like, where y'all at? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, so when I went to Joe's show, I've kind of felt the same thing about Joe. Joe, you like me, you admire me, you say you like the way I handle money, you know, like I don't steal from myself, I don't steal from my friends. So you know, what's the deal? You know, throw me a bone, let me get started. Let me start rocking and rolling out here. And then I didn't really full disclose my situation to everybody. You know, I didn't tell them that my mom's house was in foreclosure. You know, I didn't think that was necessary. I thought that you should be doing it on the merits. You know, I go on merits a lot. Like, yeah, motherfucker, you take care of your stuff in good merit. So I mess with you, you know.
People ain't like that out here, though, like they're in prison, you know what I mean? Seriously.
At least, you know, when you're in prison, you get a care package, you know.
Yeah.
They're going to run you a care package. Man, he'll make sure you got everything you need. But out here on the streets, it's not the same. You know, it's like the rich want to get richer and they want to control more and dominate more. And so when I go on Joe's show, it was like, man, what's up, Joe? You know what I'm saying? Help a motherfucker out, you know, help a brother out, man. You know what I'm saying? Put me down.
Up, homie.
And that's all I ever asked any of them, you know, the rapper, that's all I wanted from him, you know. Damn, let me carry the bags, you know. I'm going to show you what I can do. I can come from carrying the bags to running this whole thing.
It's like the same thing as you did before with the drugs in prison. Is it not the same thing?
Absolutely.
And I feel like when you get out of prison, you have to start all over again.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And work from the bottom all the way up. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. So I tell Joe, and he was like, man, you need a T-shirt. I was like, oh, it crushed me.
Yeah.
You know, I thought I was going to walk out with about 50,000, you know.
You're already doing the math in your head and shit.
Yeah, like, man, 50,000 will really do me good right now. I could turn some corners with 50,000.
For sure.
So he said, man, you need a T-shirt. And I was like, just like crushed, you know, I was stoked. I didn't even really want to take the pictures after the podcast.
No way.
Nah, I was ready to get out of there. Like, man, let me go back to the streets and start hustling again, you know, make me some money. So I'm walking down the street about, I don't know, 2 or 3 days later, and this kid come up to me, young white kid, and he was like, man, I got a T-shirt idea for you. And I was like, he told me, I heard you on Joe Rogan, and I came up with an idea for you. And I was like, oh, fuck, this kid, another one of those T-shirters.
Mm-hmm.
And, but, you know, I always keep an open mind. You know, I never shut nothing out. And the kid was just like, super cool. He was like, I'll do everything. You ain't got to do nothing. I'm going to print it. I'm going to design it. I got the whole shop. I come by my shop. He gave me his number. I went by his little place, and I saw he had a nice little print shop and everything. I was like, all right, let's do it, man. Come on. So we did the T-shirt. And I was homeless at the time.
Really?
I'm living in, like, somebody's apartment that I ain't supposed to be there. you know, with 2 kids and my old lady. And we do the T-shirt. The kid called me. He said, "Man, I got some T-shirts for you." So he gave me 100. I sold 100 T-shirts the same day.
No way.
Yeah. The whole
Joe Rogan's following right there, huh?
So I was like, damn, man, might be something here. So then I called Joe. I said, "Man, I followed your advice. I did that T-shirt." He said, "Oh, come back to the show."
No way.
Yeah, so I go back to the show. He put the T-shirt on camera, man. It was like,
wow, that changed.
PayPal went crazy. PayPal went crazy. So technically, you know, he gave me a fee.
He did give you the money then almost, right?
Yeah, he did.
It works out that way.
Sometimes, you know, they say it's better to teach a man how to fish than
absolutely than just to hand him a fish. Yeah, that's what he was doing probably for sure. He's a smart dude. All right, I don't mean to backtrack, but I want to get through like.
You still could have gave me that money though.
You could have gave me money and did the T-shirts. Yeah, for sure.
Just think he gave me.
I'll make sure to let him know when I get on his show sometime.
Hey, when if he'd gave me the 50,000 to do the T-shirt,
you would have done it quicker, huh?
Yeah.
Sold a lot more than 100 T-shirts. All right, so dude, I want to backtrack because a lot of people, especially people on the streets, they know about like the prison stuff, and they don't know like the whole mindset and the mental stuff that we go through when you do get locked up. So I want to get into. You said that you're on TV. They were looking for you. What was it like getting arrested at first? Mental. How long did you think you were going to go away? And then once you realized how much time it was, like what the hell were you thinking? Because I had 12 years, but I was ready to give up and kill the world, bro.
Well, when I got arrested, I had been to jail before, you know, traffic ticket, you know, overnight, you know, like we used to, when I started low riding, we would get tickets in the low riders and we wouldn't pay them.
Yeah.
We wait till Sunday night and go turn ourselves in and they let you out Monday morning, 8 o'clock in the morning. So I did some, you know, some wino time, you know.
Wino time, I ain't heard that term. They don't even probably know what wino time is out there, but yeah, it's funny.
But I never, you know, did no time, you know, 30 days, 40 days, or nothing like that there. So when I got arrested, it was kind of shocking. But what really became shocking is when they told me how much time I was looking at. And that was a shock.
Because you got arrested for nothing, then they probably stack up all those charges, and you're probably thinking, what the hell?
Well, they use, you know, in the feds.
When did you find out? Did you go like, because you don't know until like, did you go for like your pre-trial conference, something like that, and then your lawyer told you like, yo, you're looking at forever? Well, no, you know, in the feds, you don't know what you're charged with until they indict you. Okay.
You know, usually they don't indict you. They arrest you on a complaint.
Okay.
So they just have a little complaint.
And then you sit there for what, like a week or two until they indict you?
Yeah, 2 weeks. They got 14 days to indict you.
Yeah, that's how it is in the States.
And if they don't indict you, then you go to preliminary hearing. One of the two. And if they don't do neither one, then they dismiss you.
When they indicted you, what did they indict you for?
Conspiracy to traffic and conspiracy to possess.
Just tons of charges or what?
No, it was only 4.
Really?
Yeah, they didn't need but 4. They really only needed 1. If 1 hit...
That's crazy to me, bro.
If 1 can carry a life sentence. Now they have overt acts.
Is that still how it is to this day?
Yeah.
That's nuts to me. How you can do a life sentence for selling some kilos, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well...
You know when you do the joint, how many... hundreds or thousands of dudes doing murders, manslaughter, 10, 15, 20, 25 years. You know
but
at
one time, though, drugs was the top of the agenda. You know, they were blaming drug dealers. If somebody went and committed a murder, they blamed the drug dealer.
Yeah.
You know, he was high on drugs.
Okay.
A gang member, you know, catch a guy screwing his old lady and kill him, or gang member drugs.
All right.
You know.
So you're in there. So now you're in there. They indict you on this stuff, and your lawyer's telling you what? You're looking at a life sentence.
Yeah.
And what are you saying? What are you talking about? Are you crazy?
From 5 to 40. That's what my guys were looking at. The guys who told on me, I knew what they were looking for because I hired their lawyers. You know.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be slick. You know. If I control the lawyer, I know everything that's going on. Then one day you call a lawyer and he'd be like, "Hey, I can't talk to you no more."
Ouch! Because you know they're rolling on you.
Then you know what's going on.
They're rolling on you. Yeah. Damn. Yep. Okay, so I want to get through the stuff of fighting this case. Do you know you're going away forever? And
no, I didn't.
Okay.
I had no clue that.
How long were you in there fighting this case?
I fought that case about 18 months.
Yeah, I was in the county jail almost 2 years too.
Yeah. But I was going back and forth from here. What happened with me that really gave me a break is I had a police task force that was named Freeway Rig Task Force. So their job was to catch me. So when we found out they were planting drugs and lying on search warrants and just brutal dudes. You know, all these scars on my face. And don't y'all think that, you know, I see them scars. They come from, not from street.
Yeah.
That ain't street stuff. You know, I was able to get out of the street battles.
For sure.
But they handcuffed me and let the dog bite me, and I mean, they was brutal, you know. So what I did is I hired an investigator to investigate them. And so when they indicted me, we took a package to the DA. I mean to the district attorney, and was like, look, your witnesses, they ain't what you think they are. You better read all this here. So when that happened,
smart.
It took a couple years. No, not a couple years, but almost a couple years. And then they came one day. I was in my cell in Cincinnati, and it was just a normal day. It wasn't a court date, you know. So I was just laid up, you know, watching TV. They had us in single man cells, you know, high power, but had a telephone in our cell. So
telephone in your cell?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, man. My phone bill used to be crazy, $8,000, $9,000 a month. You know, 2 or 3 different houses.
Oh gosh.
You know, you babysitting the girls on the phone. Hey, where you at?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
You at home?
Let me hear that background noise. Yeah, yeah, for sure.
So they come in and they were like, man, get ready for court. The marshal's coming to get you. I was like, I ain't getting ready. I ain't got no court today. I'm laying in the bunk. So they came back and were like, man, we told you to get ready. Marshal's coming to get you. I was like, marshals ain't coming to get me, man. My court date is in 2 months, 3 months. I can't remember how long. It was a while down. And they said the marshals called and told you to get ready. So I saw they were serious. So I got up, put my clothes on, and marshals came and got me. You know, good. We always like to go out with the marshals because, you know, they take us to local food stands.
Yeah, food fast food. Yeah, right.
Yeah. So I was kind of glad to get some food, and they were like, I'm like, man, why y'all taking me to court today? He was like, oh, the judge ordered you over there. So we get out the car, and the thing about Cincinnati, the crazy part is that you walk through the front door. You know, they don't take you up under in a bus because they got an old jail. Yeah. So they take you right through the front door like everybody else. So when I'm walking through the front door, there my lawyer is like, man, what you doing here? He was like, man, they called me, said it was an emergency to get down here. They had a deal for you. So.
Oh, they had a deal for you?
Yeah, I've been begging for 10. And when we get in the tanks, my lawyer come back and he said, man, they want to make you a 10-year deal. I said, no, they don't. I've been trying to get 10 years for a whole year, and they ain't want to do nothing. I said, something is going. I said, they finna indict those cops. And I told him, I said, go back and tell them I'll take 5. And he went back, and they said, okay, well, what we'll do is take the 10, and if we indict those cops, we'll drop it down to 5. I said, they're going to indict them cops, man. Take the 10. Okay. We'll do that. So we did it. They indicted them about it. A year and a half later, and I went in and testified on them, what they did to me, and they cut me down to 5. That's when I was right here in Black Canyon.
That's who was in Black Canyon for?
I was in Black Canyon, right here in Arizona, man. Yeah.
Oh, I thought that was a big one. Okay, so then what happens after that? You do that bid? Well,
I do that bid. I get out. I didn't get out from here because I had a detainer from Texas. So when I'm getting out here, they take me down to Tent City. I spent a night in Tent City.
All right, yeah.
So they took me from here. They took me to Tent City, and the Texas police come there and pick me up, take me to Texas. I do a year down there, and then I get out. When I get out, my supplier, Danilo Blandone, starts calling me the day I get out. You know, I'm thinking,
what a good dude.
There you go. He's gonna do something for me.
Yeah,
you know
what a good dude.
Appreciate me, you know, holding my mud, and, you know, don't give him up and everything. And come to find out, he was setting me up the whole time.
Damn. Waiting for you to get out just to set you up, huh? Mm-hmm. Okay, so it took them 6 months to set you up in Texas, correct?
Oh man, that was crazy. But you know, the craziest part is when you hear yourself on tape in court.
Oh gosh, yeah, probably cringing.
You'd be like,
especially when you know what you're gonna say next, Paul. You're like, oh my god, this is gonna be so bad.
Man, this dude, I'm on tape. This dude is like, I got 700 kilos, and then I go, what price?
Oh,
I just shot myself in the foot.
Yeah,
that was all they needed.
Really?
Yeah. When I said that. Well, I could have still backed out of the deal. You know, you still got time. Even though you say that, you can still back out. But when you go through with it, it's like, you was with it.
So they locked you up again that time?
Yeah, that's when they gave me that life sentence, man.
And are they telling you the whole time you are getting a life sentence?
But you know what? I'm going to go back a little further than that, right? Because I'm riding up going to San Diego, so we riding up the 405 freeway, you know, beautiful scenery, you know, the ocean and San Juan Capistrano, you know, you're going through all those beautiful houses. And then I'm telling myself, like, shit, man, I'd rather be in prison than broke.
Same. That's how I still feel to this day.
So, because technically, if you don't have no money, you in prison.
Literally.
You can't go nowhere, you know.
That's the one thing, is when you get out of prison, when you don't have money, it's like once the honeymoon phase is over, you're like, what the I waited all this time to get out for this? I don't have no money or nothing to do?
Yeah. So that time when I'm riding up the coast, I'm like, I don't care. You know, I know I'm taking a life sentence chance, but it's better than being broke. And I headed out, man. And then when we got there, you know, my boy Chico, who a lot of people saw him. You know, he was when the CIA director came down to South Central. Chico was the one who stood up and was like, "Yeah, Rick finna get a life sentence Monday, and I'm getting 20 years or something like that." He said, I don't remember exactly.
Oh wow.
But we got there, and you know, we exchanged the money, and they gave us the keys to the car. And as soon as we opened the car door, the police just come from everywhere.
Damn.
It was crazy, you know.
All right,
like
so then
my whole world just like
done, right?
And then
you probably know right then when you see those cops, instantly you're thinking like, it's a wrap on me.
It's a wrap.
You know that, huh?
So I jump in the car and I speed off.
Nuh-uh.
We got a high speed. My last day. I'm gonna stay out as long as I can.
Why not? Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
smoke a couple more cigarettes while you're driving. Even who cares?
Yeah, run me off the road.
Yeah. What they gonna do to you?
Yeah, you gonna give me a life sentence? Yeah, I'm right.
Oh man. All right, so they got you going to the life, and are you just?
I see the helicopter come up off the ground.
Man, so you're thinking your life's over at this point, right?
You can't get away from the helicopter.
Yeah.
You know, with the cops, maybe.
And you know how much time you're doing, so you're like literally officially it's over with. So then when they put you in jail the next day, are you thinking my life's over? Fuck it.
Done.
Damn.
Yep. So,
all right, so when you finally get sentenced, do you have any, the whole time you're in there fighting this case, do you have any player they telling you might be able to get less than that, or you just know it's life?
Well, we trying to take 20.
Okay.
We asked them, we begged them.
They wouldn't even give you 20?
Please give me 20.
Wow.
Please.
Yeah, they did not
20.
want you out if they wouldn't even give you 20.
They said, nah, we ain't giving you 20. So they said, you got to go to trial. You know, or just do an open plea. You know, whatever the judge gives.
So did you go to trial or open plea?
I went to trial. Come on, I ain't stupid. I was born in the daytime, but not yesterday.
For sure.
If you open plea, if the judge gives you a life sentence, you don't have no appeal.
Yeah, for sure.
You're done.
Because you admitted fault to it.
Yeah, you admit it. You know, so. And that's the kind of plea they wanted me to do. So that was, for me, that was a no-brainer.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't even have to think about that. Like, so they put 12 in the box, and I almost won, man.
No way.
I had a chance.
Yeah.
The jury said that they did not like what the government did to me. You know, like, it's like you take an addict and you dingling the carrot in front of his face, like, come on. And
Is that how you end up getting out on appeals?
No, it was
I'm not cutting ahead, but yeah, I was curious. I'm fascinated about the whole story myself, bro.
I was just trying to give you the mindset of how I felt. I really felt like really played.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, like when I heard the tapes, you know, I was like, fuck, these motherfuckers was luring me in.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, didn't I deserve a chance?
I don't think that would fly to this day. Like to these days, I don't think those courts. I think that would be thrown
as
out.
A parolee. You know, didn't I deserve a fair chance to see if I would have gone? I was gonna be filthy rich.
Yeah.
I was finna like literally like just like kill. Not the way I'm gonna do now.
Yeah.
Now it's a whole nother animal. I'm a whole nother animal. Those 14 years that I did, those extra 14 and 8 months that I did on that case, took me to a whole nother level. You know, I turned my cell into a college. You know, I bought books every month. I would get 5-6 books every single month.
That's almost crazy to me because I didn't even do that stuff because I thought like the 12 years of my life was almost over. So it's fascinating to me that you could be doing a life sentence. You're trying to better yourself.
Listen,
bro.
they laughed at me.
Kill people, bro.
Everybody used to laugh at me.
Yeah.
I'd be walking around the prison with Think and Grow Rich, the richest man.
You and Seth Ferranti probably doing the same damn thing together, huh?
Well, Seth was in another prison, but Seth was writing and putting out books.
Mm-hmm. Is that how you got in touch with him?
Right, from his magazine articles. You know, Seth wrote in you definitely should bring Seth in.
Seth's been on my show. He's my
boy,
been
on your show? Okay.
Oh, he told me to tell you hi. I just texted him and he said hi.
Seth was putting out books. He was writing for Don Diva.
Shout out to Seth Ferrante. If you guys haven't looked up his stuff, go look up his stuff too.
He was writing for, and Seth's a hell of a writer.
Yeah, he's awesome, man. An awesome dude.
I'm trying to get him to do a podcast right now, where he interviews prisoners. You know, guys who because he used to do those articles, man. His articles help me do my time. You know, sometimes when I want just some relaxation,
for sure,
I would read some of Seth's stuff. You know, and he would be talking about how the cops raided this guy and that guy and what they did. But anyway. They wouldn't give me a deal. I went to trial. One of the things I did wrong, because the guy who was driving the truck, I gave him the keys to the truck. So now they had absolutely no evidence on him. He never talked to anybody and nothing. Uh-huh. So he came to me. He was like, "Man, you know you done." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm done." My lawyer said, "I'm done." He was like, "Man, why don't you lie for me?" And I was like, I'm done anyway.
Okay.
Fuck it. Let my homeboy go. So when we went to court, I told the jury, you know, that when I gave him the keys, I never told him it was cocaine in the car, that his job was to check the car out, that they was giving me, because part of the plan was they was giving me the car. Mm-hmm. You know, so he came up with a great story. Well, you wanted me to check the car out for you and because he was a mechanic. Mm-hmm. And the jury believed it, and they let him go.
Wow, that's cool.
So, but me and him have been friends for 20 years. So the prosecutor, he argued that thing a little different. He said, y'all like Rick, huh? His friend for 20 years, he didn't tell him it was dope in that car. Now, you got to look at this one or two ways. Yeah. Either Rick told him it was dope in that car, or Rick is a dirty motherfucker because he didn't tell his partner it was dope in that car. But either way.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah.
I had a special prosecutor.
Oh, really?
Oh, he was bad.
Oh, they pulled him in for cases
he wouldn't do the appeal, though.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, when we did that appeal, he didn't come back.
Okay, so yeah, that's what I want to get into too. So you're in prison right away. Are you first year or two? Because those are always the toughest, getting adjusted to literally not getting out. You know what I'm saying?
First 6 months for me. I was like, I wouldn't talk to none of my kids.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't want to.
You wake up every day, you're like, what?
I was embarrassed.
Yeah.
You know, I told my kids I was never going back to prison. You're like, Daddy's done. And I don't know.
How is the relationship with your kids to this day?
We cool.
Awesome.
Yeah,
cool.
We're pretty good.
Okay, so that first 6 months is all bad, and then are you thinking like, I'm going to try to, how do you get the mindset to like, I'm going to start reading and trying to do better?
Well, you know, guys start talking to me, you know, the jailhouse lawyers, you know, start talking to me like, man, you count on your lawyer? And I was like, yeah, I got a bad lawyer. I paid him some nice money.
Yeah. God, and a street lawyer too, yeah.
And then they broke it down to me like, hey, he got any other clients? And I was like, yeah, he got other clients. Oh, so you think he like you, but he like all of his other clients all put together. Maybe you are his favorite client, but are you better than all of his clients together? And I was like, I doubt it. He said, he got kids? And I was like, yeah, he got kids. Oh, so you think he care more about your case than he do his kids? And I was like, come on, man, stop it. You know better than that. He got a wife. And I was like, yeah. He was like, oh, you think he care more about you than he do his wife? And I was like, nah. So whoever should be fighting your case should want you out just as bad as you want to be out. Mm-hmm. This guy, all these other people come before you.
Yeah.
And so what I learned, what I took from that was that I should be dedicating myself wholeheartedly to my freedom. And that's what I did. So I taught myself how to read first. Started with the newspaper, and
talk to a lot of this will be helpful to a lot of dudes like right now that are listening to this in the joint. You know what I'm saying? A lot of motherfuckers just sitting there and politicking, don't do shit with their time like I did. You know what I mean? Like
playing cards.
Yeah.
You know, dominoes, chess. You know. So after I did that, I learned how to read, and I just started cramming the books. You know, law. First I was just cramming law books. You know, going over case after case after case. You know, because it's about shepherdizing. You know. Cases that are similar to yours, where you got the results you wanted. You know, you find a guy that got the results you want.
For sure.
And then you present that to the court and show the court why your case resembles his case.
On the real, right at this time, clearly you're thinking about getting out on appeal, but realistically, what do you do? You think it's a 4% chance, but you have a shot at least, or what are you like really thinking?
Oh no.
You don't think you have a legit shot at getting out of prison, do you?
When I found these 3 words, continuous criminal spree, I knew I was getting out.
Really?
Yeah. I said they got to change they got to change the law now. They can no longer go with see what they did. The prosecutor he charged me wrong. He charged me with the 3 strikes, because the 3 strikes is the hardest to get out of. Once you get those,
okay,
you convicted, you're done.
All right.
You know, 851. So when I saw continuous criminal spree, what that meant was that I'd only been to jail 1 time before, but I pled guilty in multiple states.
Okay.
So the way they wrote the law up and the way that they wanted it to be was they didn't want you to be, say for instance, you could have went on one of my spots, right? Never sold drugs before. But in one day, you could make 100 sales. So what they were saying is that each one of those sales was a separate case. And technically it is.
Okay.
But under law, they don't want to punish a person who makes 100 sales in one day a career criminal, because he's not a career criminal. He's just a guy.
One day, yeah.
It's only one
Had
day.
a lot of sales one day.
Yeah, he got a lot of sales in one day.
Yeah.
So what I did is I told them that I had never been punished. I'd never been brought to my senses. And that's all the guy who does that 100 sales. He's never been brought to his senses. Nobody ever told him, hey, man, you're doing wrong.
Yeah.
You know, we'll put you in jail, give you probation, and then let you out. Don't you do it no more.
Yeah.
So it was the same thing, but mine was over an 8-year span.
Okay.
But I'd never been brought to my senses. You know, nobody had ever sit me down, spanked me, and told me to stop. And you got to do it 3 times. You got to commit the crime, go to jail, get out, and then commit another crime, go to jail, get out.
Do it one more time.
And you do it another time, and now you're a career criminal.
Okay.
Mine wasn't like that. Mine was like, oh, you in jail in Phoenix, Arizona, we're going to ship you to Texas, and then we're going to ship you here and then ship you there. So I never technically came out of handcuffs.
And how long did this whole appeal stuff go on? Because you served, and how much time did you end up serving on this? 25,
I did 14.
Served 14?
14 years and like 8 months, I think, on this one.
Wow.
So I won like 2 or 3 appeals on this case.
Okay.
First I won the appeal.
But that's a long appeal take. You still served 14 years on this case, right?
I did. Well, when I finally got my case where I knew how much time I was going to get out, I already had in like 9 years, almost 10 years. So I could see the end of the rainbow, you know. But I never stopped studying. Once I learned how to read, I never stopped studying, you know, because once I knew that, matter of fact, Jesse, who wrote that article I was telling you about for LA Magazine, when I got out, me and him, he came to see me speak at an AA meeting, and we were riding back. I gave him a ride back home because he caught the train to the meeting, and I was giving him a ride back. And he said 30 days after he left me from the pen, writing that my obituary, I won my appeal.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what I didn't know that because I don't keep up with dates and
I don't know how this works. So I want to get into that. So once you finally get granted the appeal, how does that work? Do you have like a final court day, and then they're like, "Yo, we're letting you out," or how does this process work?
No, it's a long, drawn out process.
I did.
When I won my first appeal, I stayed back in San Diego for 3 years.
Okay.
Just on that appeal, but it was a lot of stuff went on. You know, my informant.
What prisons did they send you in? Were you doing like the big USPs at first?
Lompoc. I was at Lompoc, USP Lompoc, up by Santa Barbara.
People don't know the USPs. Those are the real deal. Those are like the max yards of the feds, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the real deal.
They hurt people in there.
Serial killers and all that shit.
Oh,
there.
yeah. You got to be careful. You know, I'd be nice to everybody. Hey, how you doing, buddy?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Dude, we used to write one of the OGs for the white boys that ended up getting transferred because it just over a bunch of stuff and was over the feds. And he said he was literally walking there with serial killers. And this dude was a straight stone cold murderer. And he was like, these fools are crazy on the yard.
I was in the shower one day and they were stabbing a dude right by the shower, and he was hitting the shower so hard. You talking about these walls are like 2 feet concrete walls, and you could just hear this guy thumping the wall, bunk, 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 trying to get away from that knife, man.
Yeah.
But anyway, after I found those, you know, continuous criminal spree, I knew I was getting out.
Okay, so finally, when you won a few of your appeals, but the last one where you think you're going to be getting out, is it like a court date? Do they send you back to court?
Yeah, they send me to
court.
They send me to court, and the judge sent me back.
Did they let you out that day?
No, she sent me back with 1 year.
Really?
She said, go do one more year. I never thought that she would let me walk out of her courtroom.
Yeah.
I mean, that would just been dyke.
She's like, you can get out of my courtroom, but you can get out of somebody else's in here.
Yeah, we didn't let you walk out the prison gate.
Okay.
So I went back to prison.
How happy were you at this point? And then what'd you do the next year when you were in there? Were you just trying to figure out some stuff to better yourself for the streets?
I was ecstatic.
Okay.
No, I already knew I was going to take over the streets.
All right.
You know, I mean, that's why I was telling you, when you read the LA Magazine article, we're going to do this over again.
Okay.
We'll do one just straight on that article because that article is dope enough to do that.
Okay.
This guy, he went and interviewed my dad. You know, he knew my dad better than I knew my dad.
Really?
Yeah, he went and found my dad, man.
Wow.
Told me my dad was a bootlegger, you know, before. And,
Damn.
And you got to read the article. It's dope. I ain't gonna spoil it for you.
Yeah, we'll wait for the next one.
But they paid him really well to do the article. He did a fantastic article. Some great pictures.
Yeah.
You know, they had a guy named Rob, award-winning photographer, took the pictures. It was just dope. You know, it was dope. Matter of fact, Rob was the guy who captured in like 92 or something, when they killed the president of Mexico. He was the one that took the pictures of the actual shooting and everything. So he was an award-winning photographer. He shot the pictures. It's just a dope article.
What was it like for you, and just a random question too, what was it like in prison? Because I know how a lot of the brothers are, and a dude like you, I would think would be like instantly when you get there, it's almost like triple OG status for your race.
Oh yeah, pretty much. I mean, you know, they got some other guys who.
But even the dudes calling the shots are still showing you love, and like they know who the hell Freeway Rick Ross is, right?
But they still, some of them be a little jealous.
Little haters, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Like if they see one of their little homeboys,
clutching on your pockets and not
I
his.
wasn't with the gang, you know, the gang politics and none of that. I was with the books. You know, I'm running around a USP with Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, As a Man Think. You know, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and stuff like that. The Millionaire Mind, and you know, these are kind of how to publish your own book. You know,
smart man.
Because I already knew I never had a job. You know, I never fill out a job application.
Have you had a job yet to this day?
Nope. My PO said that what I do is not a job.
Just pays the bills and pay her bills if you need to.
Yes. Yeah, so I just kept cramming myself. You know, I wanted to be over-prepared because I knew that, you know, you see the guys coming back. Mm-hmm. You know, you see guys coming back and back
so
and back.
often, right?
And then I came back in 6 months. So I'm like, shit, you one of those guys. You know what I'm saying? You better straighten that shit up. Otherwise, you might be one of those guys again. Yeah. So,
dude, you have a polarizing smile. You just seem so happy. And it's crazy to me to like literally think about those years back then, and like hearing how you were like, your smile, you've been smiling all damn morning. It's the coolest shit in the world, bro. Like,
I'm living so good right now. I can't, but it's like.
And that gives people hope, man, because, you know, like, think of dudes that are listening to this in prison right now. Even they got 2, 3, 4, 5 years, 7 years, 10 years, and they think there's no end to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, but you were doing a natural life sentence. Now you like have the world in the palm of your hands. Man, and haven't stopped smiling since I met you this morning.
I didn't have enough time when I was in jail. You know, my days went by so fast. That I would be like, wow, I wish I had a couple more hours.
Stop.
Yeah, that's how. I started a book club in prison.
Wow.
And then once I did that, right, I got really slick, right, because I'm always trying to think of some scheme.
For sure, yeah.
So what I did is I started reading all these books, right, and they telling you how the game worked, right, and I'm like, this shit just like cocaine. So I start catching the young dudes who were going home. Hey, come here, young buck. What you gonna do when you get out? I'm gonna sell dope. You gonna sell dope, fool? You gonna come right back? So start lacing them up. And they go out and they send me money back. And thank me. Like, man, I'm so glad you turned me around. I was a torpedo.
Yeah, torpedoes. Yeah, that's why I started. That's how I started my rank in prison for sure, as a torpedo. All right, so
you started off as a torpedo.
Yeah, man. Oh, man. I had my first fight in prison was a dude running my building. It was twice my size, and I was 160 pounds and beat the brakes off him. And after that, it was a wrap on stuff.
They don't want to mess with you.
Yeah. I was a little long. I had long blonde hair from Awatuki, like a little pretty boy. I got locked up. I was 144 pounds. So they all thought like I was a little like pretty boy flamboyant.
Yeah,
Couldn't scrap and talk. But I used to box. So,
yeah,
but I used to box. So then once they saw that a few times, then people know better. You know what I'm saying?
They start backing up.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So when you get out of prison, I want to hear the release, your mindset, the day you're getting out, and what you did.
I got out. They let me out at 4:00 in the morning.
Okay.
And then the guard,
they got to fuck up some way. You know what I mean? Like make it a little bit shittier.
That wasn't messed up for me.
yeah.
I thought that was early. I was like, woo, better than 6:00 in the morning.
Okay, yeah, for
you
sure.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
that's the one way of looking at it too. Yeah. All right.
Well, I always try to look at the bottom half.
But I'm saying that's what I preach about now is just look. You can look at the same thing and have a good mindset or having a shitty mindset, and you can get two completely different views from the same picture you're looking at. You know what I mean?
So I called the bus home. I wanted to take my time getting to the halfway house. No rush.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, see, you've been here all these years. Take your time. My old lady, she rode on the bus with me and a couple of the homies. So we just had like a little party on the bus. 50 Cent called me.
50 Cent?
Yeah, he called me when I woke up, because we got on the bus at 4. I wound up falling asleep. When I woke up, he was calling me on my new. What kind of phone was that? The BlackBerry.
Okay.
Oh, my BlackBerry. I loved my BlackBerry. I said, I could take over the world with this little thing right here. You know what I'm saying? Call and text 3 ways.
I missed the whole BlackBerry phase. That came out when I was in.
And when I was in prison, I used to say that if they give me a 3-way phone, I could move mountains. And they gave it to me, so, that's what I'm doing. Nobody can see the mountains I moved yet, but they being moved right now. We got the shovel going up under them. We're going to move them real subtle.
So what did 50 say to you when he called you when you got out? Welcome home, OG. Like, do you need anything?
Something like that there. Yeah, something like that there. And, just another, little fluffing.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot of guys fluff.
100%.
Floyd came and picked me up, from the halfway house. I saw him last night, too. We was at a party with him.
Damn. That's the one thing, especially now that you're out and you've been through all that and held your mud. Like, them fools probably show you mad love now, huh?
They do, but not the kind of love I want.
For sure, yeah. That's right.
I like you to give me my love the way I want it.
The $50,000 range. You should have been telling 50 to give you that Joe Rogan money, dude.
Don't give me the kind of
50's
love.
50's got more money than Joe Rogan, probably.
Don't give me the kind of love. No, Joe got $100 million.
50 signed that vitamin water deal. He got a couple $100 million.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Supposedly. All right, so
there's a lot of fluff out here.
Oh, for sure. Trust me.
You had to fluff the pillow and see what's really inside it. A lot of times don't be nothing there. Pick cardboard.
Yeah. So what was your plan when you got out of prison? And then what was your first few days and weeks like? What did you plan on doing for a living?
I knew a couple months before I got out, my mom's house was in foreclosure.
Okay.
My little sister, she told me. She's like, Mom took a loan out on that house and she probably gonna lose it. So that kind of like messed me up a little bit because now that's why I was planning on staying. But I also had prepared that even if I was homeless, I didn't care because I knew that sacrifice, dedication, and the studies I had done was going to overtake whatever position. My 3 favorite books, I'm going to tell you all your guys, that they definitely need to go get them. Even when I spoke at Brown University, I told the kids there, and I talk about me speaking at Brown when I go speak at, some of the black high schools.
Okay.
When I spoke at Brown, packed auditorium, I was like, my 3 favorite books, and I didn't even tell them to read them. I just had my 3 favorite books, and I looked up, everybody was putting up backpacks and pencils, and I was like, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, The Richest Man in Babylon by George Classy, As a Man Think by James Allen, or As a Woman Think. And I saw all those kids writing it down. And then when I go to black schools and I tell them, hey, y'all need to read these books. And I look and nobody's moving. I'm like, come on, y'all. Y'all gotta observe yourself. You gotta, when you get a tip like that, because sometimes you can get tips, and a lot of people get tips and they don't take advantage of them.
Yeah.
They just get a tip. What am I going to do with the tip? So I was telling them that when you get tips, you have to recognize them, and then you have to take advantage of them. I could only imagine where I would have been if I would have had those 3 books when I was selling drugs.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, right now, I really feel invincible, and that's why I'm so excited. But I don't need it. That's why you
smile so much?
That's why I smile so much. I don't need nothing, I'm just in a great position, you know.
Yeah.
Get to travel.
So what are your goals coming up? What do you got? Like, what do you want to do coming up?
Well, I'm probably going.
You do a ton of prison stuff, correct?
Whenever they let me. I'm getting approved to go in Boston right now. They're gonna let me go in every prison in Boston, I think.
Really?
Yeah, we just.
Bro, I got the hookup in with that. I always shout out to Sister Mary's house in L.A. too, but I got to do that. I can get you in all the prisons in California if you want.
Man,
San Quentin, Pelican Bay, all the
if
big
they
ones.
let me go in them prisons,
I got a guy that can get you in Pelican Bay.
I can reform these prisons.
I got a guy that can get you in
I
Pelican
know how
Bay
to
so we can do
reform
this
the
together.
prisons. I know how to take a guy who's totally illiterate. Huh?
Yeah.
Get him where he can produce documentaries, publish books, go to Brown University and speak.
Sound like you're talking about somebody. Keep going.
Write articles for newspapers. I can show those guys how to do that.
You're proof that you can do anything. You know what I'm saying? Seriously. Your story is absolutely amazing, bro.
So, I've been to a few prisons, and when I speak, you could drop a pin. Those guys give me the type of respect, better than the kids in high school do.
Yeah.
Because they can relate. You know, when you can relate, and I can talk better than them because I can relate.
For sure.
I can talk about the steel toilet, you know, with the sink on top of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I can talk about that.
Or the dudes in prison will listen to you because you've been in that cell that they're living in right there too.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Because people, dudes in the joint, like, we don't listen to nobody unless we feel like you walked in our shoes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So there's not a person
Well,
that
how
can
can
say
you
walk in
judge
their
me?
shoes. Yeah.
How can you judge me when you don't know me?
Yeah, exactly. When you ain't been through the shit I've been through, how can you say anything about it?
Yeah, you judging me and you don't know what I went through.
Yeah,
You know,
I would love to do this.
You don't know.
I'll go out to Cali just to go into the prisons with you, bro. But I got the inn in California while I'm and that's through that Sister Mary's Foundation. That's probably why we get hooked up for this stuff.
Let's do it. Let's do it. I would love to do that.
Okay, so
I go to Juvenile Hall. I spoke last year at the graduation for Juvenile Hall. I was a keynote speaker downtown LA. Loved it. The kids loved it.
Yeah.
The staff loved it. But I like doing that kind of stuff. That's giving back.
Absolutely.
I feel like I gave something back.
Giving back
and it
is
didn't
the
cost
best.
me no money. But it's like that T-shirt that Joe Rogan gave me. He could have. That T-shirt's still selling too.
I bet it is, dude. You need to get me on the Joe Rogan show, please.
He won't take my calls no more. I can't get him getting it.
No way.
Yeah, he signed that big money deal.
Signed that $100 million Spotify
Man, I
deal,
don't
lost
want
your
50
number.
no more. I want $1 million now, Joe.
Yeah.
But one day he'll call me and say, "Man, I got a couple $1 million. I need you to invest it for me.
He might do
turn
that.
it into 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. Once
sure.
they all find out what I do with it, then I flip it. I flip it and turn it. And stretch it.
All right. The last thing I want to do, I just plug your book, your documentary, and anything you got going up for people to find you or stay in tune to your stuff. I'm gonna 100%. Since you already gave me the green light, I'm gonna have you back on my show 1,000%.
Let's do it.
I want to get a bunch of feedback on it, see what people say, and they're gonna give us questions they want to ask you. But what do you got coming up in the future? And just any little last advice for dudes doing time right now to drop some game to them, bro.
Well, we're working on a movie right now. We just tried to sign a big. Like last Thursday, they had a big producer in the thing. I don't know if I can announce it right now because I don't know if he signed or not. But somebody that's really popular.
Who?
I can't name it. No. Don't do it. Don't do it. So I got the movie coming out. I'm also working on one called Evolution of Crippin', is what I call it right now. It's a loose title. It's about my 3 friends who actually became Crips. At the same time, I was thinking about becoming a Crip. So I'll probably be like a small guest on the show. What else I'm doing? I'm working on a new book.
Okay.
And I'm asking all my friends now, how do you want to be portrayed in this new book? You're gonna be portrayed like you was in the last book. In the last book, you was the center.
Okay.
Now you want to play wide receiver, you want to play running back. I mean, it's up to you right now. You can start writing that new, the new chapters.
For sure.
Of your life. How you turn it around. Because I think it's important for people to understand that they are the orchestrator of themselves. And yes, you may have had a terrible back pass, but now, tomorrow, you can start dictating who that person is going to become tomorrow, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day. And the steps that you take today is going to dictate who you are, in 2 years or 3 years or whenever. So it's very important that we start to write the chapters of our book the way we want them to be. And if you write that chapter, then, you got to live that out. You can't just write it down and say, I was a great. You know how they go to funerals and they say, "Oh man, he was a great guy.
He was the greatest guy ever." Yeah.
And then people be like, "Man, that motherfucker stole everything I had.
Yeah. For
Lying
sure.
dog.
Yeah.
Slept with my wife."
Dude, I'm not joking. I know I've said it 4 times. I cannot believe that, and it just puts it in perspective for me that the dude, the real Rick Ross, the kilos and all that stuff is like you, and you like, bro, you look like a, no offense, I don't take this a good way, but like you look like a little kid just with your smile and shit, bro. Like it's like, I can't get over that shit because I know your pain, bro. I did time like that, and there was, I feel like years I didn't smile, and you're fucking mad at the world and you want to kill everybody.
I smiled in prison.
I didn't, bro. I was mad at the world. I want to kill everybody.
I found out how to smile in prison.
I didn't, bro. That's what, our prisons were so opposite. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Well, yeah, you guys run a different program.
White boys don't play that shit either, bro. Like, we got to click up the politics and start doing bad shit.
I was in there with Todd McCormick. You know who Todd McCormick is?
I've heard the name. I don't know.
Well, Todd is a guy that was in Beverly Hills that was giving out weed to people with cancer.
Okay.
He had cancer himself. Woody Harrelson bailed him out when he went to jail. It was all over the news.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, Todd wanted to hang out with me, and
his people didn't like that too much, probably, huh?
No, they didn't like it at
I already
all.
knew that.
And the first time that he wasn't with me, they hurt him real bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got him real bad. It was a sad day at the prison. We almost went to war behind that. But
really,
the brothers was like, "Man, we can't be fighting over no white boy,
yeah,
Rick."
We can't be taking. Yeah, for sure. That's how it is. Yeah, they're like, "You're right, but we ain't gonna risk our people for some white boy." That's literally what they probably said.
That's what they said, dude.
Oh my God, man, dude, thank you so much for being here. It's one of the most inspirational stories. Like I said, I can't stop thinking of the fact that you did all that time and the person you are today and the smile you have, bro. I'm super grateful for what you did. I'm excited to see what you do in the future. But let's go to California and talk to these prisons. I just want to change the world, bro. And change.
You know what Les Brown say? It's possible.
Absolutely. I just want to change the world for people to get out of prison, what they can all do.
No doubt. And that's why I'm here. I'm glad that you're doing it, and anything that I can do for you, I'm with it. And let's go turn some of them prisons out.
I appreciate it. And then you guys go buy his book. If you're a family member and you got a son or daughter that's incarcerated, go buy the book for them and send it to them so they can start getting up on game and start bettering themselves before they get out.
Not on Amazon though. Go to freewayrickyross.com.
Yep, you heard it.
Please.
Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Roll Call with Chappie. Woo, this was a good one. Thank you for flying in.
I'm autograph it too. If you get it from me, I'm autographing that joint.
There you go. Thank y'all.
Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed the show, please subscribe wherever you get your podcast and leave us some feedback. We would love to know what you think. You can find everything discussed in this episode and more in our show notes below or petermeyerhoff.com. I am Peter Meyerhoff, and you've been listening to the Roll Call with Chappie podcast.